Hey guys, I'm Jonesy. Welcome to Custom Kids Cars Garage. If this is your first time and you're checking out, well, what is a custom deep dish rim? Basically, this video is going to be a supplement of the master of Power Wheels, the Thomas Edison of Power Wheels, Denver over at Kid Stance. He just did a 3-part series on the deep dish wheel mod, and it's fantastic. I'm not going to go into everything like he did. I want you guys to actually watch these videos. So here's a link to his channel. So basically, the automotive industry is $643 billion, and Google says 12% of that is wheels. So that's $7.7 billion spent on aftermarket wheels. So it's really not a surprise that people are spending money on their cars. They want to spend money on their kids' custom cars. We're a very small little niche market. Denver, he does very well down in South Florida. He is the master of stancing them out. He keeps some stock speeds. I'm kind of more of a fabricator. He's more of an artist. But nonetheless, I have mad respect for him. So some of the things, because I watched his videos, and some of the things that I had questions on or I know are roadblocks or hurdles in performing this mod, I'm going to try to cover them. So let's define what is a deep dish mod. So basically, I've got some displays here. So this wheel is the perfect example. This is a 3D printed rim with a deep dish. So this is what the wheel looks like stock. And what Denver invented is actually cutting out the inside circumference so that you can, let's see, I have one somewhere, right? Basically, what you're doing is you're cutting out the inside of the wheel and you're placing a deep inset. So it changes the offset. It makes it look custom. Okay, which is awesome. He actually said that he used to, when he first started, was cutting the inside insert out of like a 5-gallon bucket lid. Now with 3D printers, that's what we use. We have a fantastic 3D printer subcontractor, Daniel Lyles. So check out his info right here. I'm kind of worried that he's going to get too busy for me, but if you guys want to do this mod, contact him. He is so easy to work with. I can send him a picture of a customer's truck or car that they want to match, which that's what these are right here. I had a customer that wanted to match his truck to his son's, a Mini-Me. And check this out. So he printed this, and it's got 4 dimensions to it. It's deep, and it actually has a threaded hubcap so that it hides your lock nut on there for your axle. So basically, my main motivation, because I've been wanting to do this video, but I didn't want to be the magician that spoiled the surprise, because there's a lot to it. I mean, on a scale of 1 to 10 as far as modifications, I'd probably give this a 9. It's not as simple as cutting out a hole and putting a cake pan in there. There's a lot of steps, and there's a lot of things that make each model and each look totally unique. So you can't just do one video and say this is how you do it, because we're actually going to perform probably in the second one, because this is going to be a long video. I want it to be very informative. So I'm going to do a part 2 that actually we are just doing a deep dish rim for this Dodge Ram model. So basically, I've explained it, and what we need to do is go over the cost, because at least a few times a week I get this, and I wrote myself a little cheat sheet here. So I get an email, somebody sends me a picture, usually it's of Denver's work, and they want it matched. How much? Okay, so what we use is Fat Daddy-O pans. They're very heavy duty. You aren't going to want to use the dollar store pans. You're removing the structural integrity of the wheel, so you need to add it back. These are heavy duty cake pans. Now, this is a 9x3. That's what we're using front and back on this. And I'll go over some of that in the second video because you're gonna have to figure out what size rim. I just can't put a link to what pan we use because if you've got a little Corvette, it's gonna have a smaller diameter. And Denver touches on that and he covers that fabulously. So check out his videos and then use mine as a supplement because there's some things that you gotta do to make it work. Okay, so 50 bucks for the pans. Okay, I'm going over why I can justify the cost because there's a lot to it. So, epoxy, you are going to need to glue this in here to make it structurally sound. We use this panel bonding adhesive. It's 50 bucks for a tube of that. You're gonna need, you know, a tube of that, and you're gonna need the mixing valve. I probably didn't put it where I needed it, darn it. But you can buy the hardware store stuff that it's a two-part and you got to mix it. We have found that that's super messy. We love these automatic mixing tubes. Basically, you screw this on and it's got some zigzags and it mixes it this whole length. But these aren't cheap. It's like 10 bucks for a tube of that. And obviously, once you fill it up, it's toast. Okay, 3D inserts, at least $100. If you guys can 3D print and you can do your CAD, awesome. That's gonna save you a lot of money. But for me, it's minimum $100 for a basic design. I gotta ship these to you guys. That's gonna be 60 bucks minimum. Okay, so you've got a model and you want custom wheels just sent to you. Well, I gotta buy the new wheels, so I've got to have them shipped to me. That's like 150 bucks to have wheels delivered here, customized, and shipped to you guys. Okay, most of the time you have to alter the axle because we're changing the offset, right? We're making it deeper, so the axle typically can be cut and rethreaded, or you can just cut it and use push nuts, which I hate push nuts. Some models already have threaded nuts, so you have to rethread it or put a cotter pin. There's just so many variables. Okay, so this one I actually have to extend the axle because the pan sits out. I actually have to make a spacer, and you'll see that in part 2. So I'm adding $50 for the axle work. You got to cut it, rethread it, and new spindles. Same thing with the front, guys. So we're taking a stock wheel like this C7 Corvette. You can see the axle barely sticks out there. And you would push that push nut on there or thread this. Okay. Well, what happens when you take that axle, this car's at your house in your garage, right? Sitting there waiting for some new shoes. I send you these wheels and what happens? You've got a massive nub sticking out the front here. So that's going to have to be cut and threaded or a new push nut. You guys can do that, but if you want me to send you new spindles, that's more money. It's 50 bucks. So we usually quote people between $600 and $700 for a set of wheels. Now you go ahead and price out your custom wheels on your sports car out there, you know, probably $4,000, right? So it's custom, it's gonna be expensive. So that being said, I'm going to bring in the camera and go over the tools you're going to need and the basics of how to measure and get you going on a custom set of wheels.